1 year later, what is mountain boarding? Hiking, adventure, freedom, and at the end of it all, some off-road boarding. I've learned some things that I would like to share after lots of trial and error. For one, this sport has a small following and is even smaller in the Northeast. New England is nothing but forest with few fields or rolling hills in between. Mountain boarding is all in the name. It is not hill boarding, gravel boarding, or skateboarding. Trekking into the mountains of New England any time of year can be daunting by itself. Combine this with 35 pounds of extra weight, hike to the point where you're on your own, add all the hazards of hiking, and on top of this, carry a clunky, oversized board. Pick a steep rocky incline and hope for the best. Now you have true mountain boarding. To me, the hazards are all worth the adventure. If anything, the challenge makes rewards all the more exciting. Mountain boarding has led me to beautiful locations I would have never known are in my backyard. Even if I scout a location with no results, I always enjoy the journey that mountain boarding created. I've been on the hunt for new locations, leading me to always find a fresh new adventure. Each location I visit, I have been carrying along my GoPro equipment. I never thought to make footage first, but this always ends up happening. I found that setting up cameras and reviewing footage actually slows me down and forces me to take breaks. Without this, I know I would overexert myself, which would only lead to more risk. Having a camera is even a great way to document any unfortunate encounters.
Whoa, bear.
In this way, I see my GoPro as a handy safety tool. This all wouldn't be possible without the board itself. This is my MBS 95. I got this as a gift years ago after seeing mountain boarding on TV. I was immediately drawn to the idea, and I thought I could easily translate skateboarding skills. I was absolutely wrong. The board was taller than I was, and I was nowhere near as heavy or strong enough. My old board ended up sitting untouched for years, and I finally decided to dust it off and give it the attention it so deserved. I reignited an old passion, and I am so glad that I held on to this interest. I went from seeing my mountain board as impractical to now seeing it with immense pride. I've had to make a few changes though, which are important to mention. First off, I had to remove the brakes. This sounds like a bad idea in hindsight, but has actually made things much more safe. At high speeds, the simple friction brakes do not slow the board safely. My total weight is far greater than the pounds required to squeeze the brakes and slow down. Combine this with the grade or steepness of a hill, how far I am traveling with gravity, and the result is no surprise: ineffective stopping power. Relying on brakes made me fly off far too many trails to count. The brake cable would sometimes get caught in the tires or fall behind. At first, I was clipping the brake lever to myself, which only made things more tied up and dangerous. I had to think of something. I was inspired by a friend who makes some amazing longboarding videos here on YouTube. It seemed like longboarding tricks and slides were my answer to finding stopping power. I loosened my trucks just enough, got some gloves, and returned to the mountains. Practice with carving hills and handslides made me far more in control of my board at high speeds. I kept the brakes on for a bit and tied the brake cable between foot straps. Over time, the brakes were gone entirely with the added bonus of reduced weight. Handslides and carves were much more safe, more fun, and also looked way cooler than relying on those clunky, oversized brakes. The board itself is the heaviest item, weighing in around 15 pounds. I had to figure out how to carry it more effectively. Lucky enough, in my first video, I found an old dog leash on the trail. Combine this with some used heavy-duty marimba string, and there it was, a shoulder strap. All I do is tie the strap around the center loop, make room for my feet in the bindings, and pull tight. When I am done with the ride, I just pull the strap off the loop and throw it over my shoulder. Safety equipment is now a must after some rough crashes. I upgraded to thick pipe-fitting cut protection gloves to protect my hands during slides. Fingers are rolling over rocks and everything else, and I want to make sure that I leave with all 10. I lightly glide my hand over the ground to test the terrain before sliding. Once larger stones are out of the way, I put more weight onto my hand and control the slide. When sliding at high speeds, sand and rock are flying everywhere and my face is staring right at the ground. I always wear safety glasses to protect my eyes from hazards. Helmet is an obvious must, and I am using a 888. I even bring along some 187 killer safety pads when expecting higher speeds. Padded cycling shorts also make a huge difference during falls. Gearing up adds more confidence and safety to each ride. Only downside to safety gear is slightly less mobility and heavier weight. Carrying everything can be a challenge. I use a lightweight backpack for cycling because it fits tight to my back. A larger backpack acts as a counterweight that can easily throw me off balance. Camera gear will be already set up and safety gear will be on, leaving not much else behind. If expecting the extreme, I can always gear up and leave my backpack behind with camera gear. I have to find safety within such a hazardous sport. Something as small as how I place my board on a hill can make the largest difference. After hiking for some distance, I want to start riding as smoothly as possible. If I am familiar with a location, I strap into the board with some extra Velcro straps. These straps are just strong enough to do some basic 180s after a slide. The added heel strap allows for more aggressive carving and slides, without the risk of flying out of the foot bindings. Straps combined with ankle support boots lock me into the board for far more control. If I do crash hard, straps break free and I don't risk being linked to the board for more injury. I don't want to commit to buying expensive or bulky foot bindings that tie me down completely. It is far more convenient to remove straps when scouting new locations or during less intensive rides. The ride itself always varies. This depends on the condition of each trail. The best in terms of speed and safety are gravel access roads and wide paths. I focus on finding old decommissioned ski areas or forgotten dirt roads. Mountain biking single track or hiking paths are generally unsafe because of narrow access, rocks, and roots. Every now and again, I find an area that has a wide enough clearing with smoother terrain. Areas may seem rideable on maps, yet there are often large stones and thick gravel deposits to control for water erosion. Riding is still technically possible, yet the risk for wheel bite on rock is a major risk. Thick gravel and rock slows the board significantly, even on the steepest of trails. I have to find a balance between access roads that have little foot traffic, yet are still maintained. I have been using Google Maps, AllTrails, and GravelMap to scout locations. I keep note of how popular a location is because I do not want to disturb any hikers. If a place is well known, I tend to go early morning or even during rainstorms. Sandy and muddy trails are unrideable in rain, yet gravel access roads can be a perfect location. Rain leads to empty trails with slicker conditions for more carving and handslides. The most populated trails can be the best place to ride, as long as I adapt to wet conditions. I have come across beautiful locations that have been completely ignored by the public, only to be deforested for future projects. While these locations are still here, I want to ride as many locations before they get taken away. It is a somber feeling to know that I am the only person to ever mountain board at these spots before they vanish. When I find a place that seems rideable, I gear up, set up my GoPro, and hope for the best. When I am done with the day, the fun continues with reviewing footage and editing clips into a video. On top of everything, I have been making my own music to put into mountainboarding videos. I set a goal to make one song in one day for each video. In the past, music projects have taken months and are often left shelved or unfinished. I set this goal to push myself and to revisit my favorite pastime. Making music to line up with videos all within a day has been a great challenge and something I have a lot of fun with. Mountainboarding has pushed me to create more music, explore the outdoors safely, create videos, and test my limits. True to its name, mountainboarding is a test of stamina and a perfect addition to a rugged adventure. It has pushed me to combine my interests all into one package. At the end of it all, I am proud to call myself a mountain boarder. Even if people do not know what that is, I know what it means to me. That's my first year in review, and with many more to come. I wish the best to all of you watching. Stay safe out there.